Hey, what is up? This is my 10-day review of the Lethal Gaming Gear LA-1. Now, for those of you who want the TLDR on the Lethal Gaming Gear LA-1, this is a great mouse for $60. But I have two problems with it. And number one is the skates. Number two is the buttons. Now, for the rest of you who want to stay and learn more, this is the Lethal Gaming Gear LA-1, $60 on their website. They ship worldwide. To Asia, it's about $28. I'll leave a link down below somewhere there, or maybe up there to their website, so you can check it out if you want to. I use this mouse about 10 hours plus a day, over 10 hours a day. My hand size 21 by 12, temperature 92 today, but 90 plus onwards, upwards every day. Humidity outside is about 80%. It's 43% in here for some reason, I don't know why. I've got really sweaty fingertips and clammy hand, but I have a soft, gentle, relaxed grip. Now, Lethal Gaming Gear did the right thing with the LA-1 debacle. If you didn't know, they took some losses to set things straight with their loyal customers over the QC issues with this mouse, specifically the side flex, which ironically did not bother me at all with this mouse, even though there is a little bit of side flex. If you press hard enough, you can actuate one of the side buttons, but you know, when I'm actually using it, it does not bother me at all because I don't have a death grip on the mouse. I don't grip it like I'm gonna kill it, so it's not a problem for me. Now, battery life and cleanliness check, you can see for yourself, pretty clean. A little bit of smuggers here because I'm sweating right now. 250 milliamp battery on a full charge. It lasts me 3 full days on 4K, 3.5 days on 2K, and right now it's on 4 days on 1K with about 75% in the tank. So on 1K it's really not a problem. I think you can get a week on 1K, but on 2K and 4K you're talking about 3.5 days, 3 days on 4K, which is pretty quick to wear down, to be honest with you. But you know, it's pretty clean for 10, actually it's 11 days now. No sign of any kind of stains or permanent smudges, but the smudges that you have on right now are the ones that I'm putting on it as I'm touching it, because like I mentioned earlier, I have clammy, sweaty hands. So I'm pretty pleased with how it's repelling dirt or keeping dirt off or holding its own. The coating is not as, you know, not the endgame gear kind of sticky coating, but it's good enough, and it works really well for my case use anyway. The shape and size, once again, this is I have spoken about this mouse before. The shape and size is a medium mouse. When I say it's a medium mouse, I mean the grip width is around 55, 56, around where the sensor is, where your thumb and fingers rest. It's about a 55, 56 millimeter, which is like a Helios 2 Pro or a Red Dragon M916, that kind of size, a medium size. For reference, the G Pro Superlight is 59 millimeters on the width, and the OP1WE is 53. We have a rear concentrated hump, like an endgame gear, but you know what I mean, the hump is at the back. But this hump is wider around the cheeks here, your butt cheeks. It's a little bit wider around here, where most other mouses are kind of like pointed this way, you know what I mean? Most other mouses are kind of pointed this way. This one has a bit of a rump on the side. So if I compare that with, let's say, a Red Dragon, They're clearly the same shape, same size, but when you rest your palm on it, you can feel that this butt is kind of like pointed, while this one has more of a wider rump on the side. So that's the difference that you're gonna get. It also has a pretty aggressive comfort groove if you look at the where your fingers rest. More like a comfort channel, to be honest. It can handle some irrigation if your house is flooding. These comfort grooves, I actually like them. I didn't think I would at first. I just thought it was kind of like a little bit more aggressive comfort groove than your normal comfort grooves, but it's actually pretty nice. I actually appreciate that feeling. It's kind of nice. The build quality, of course, this mouse is famous for the side flex issue that has caused a lot of grief for lethal gaming gear. You know, I have no issues with it, although I could make it flex if I wanted to. You know, if I really wanted to press on it, you know, I could. But the truth of it is, I will never exert this much strength on the side of the mouse that would you know, make this any kind of a problem. If you really wanted to even trigger the side buttons, you know, you could. If you pressed it hard enough, it's not a problem. But you're not with, you know, you need two hands to do that. I did it anyway with two hands. I can trigger these buttons when I'm pressing with both my thumbs, but that's not what you're going to do when you're actually playing the mouse, right? So it's not going to be an issue at all. Now we'll move on to the coating itself. I really like this coating. Like I mentioned earlier, it's not extremely grippy like an endgame gear, but it's not a non-coating, you know what I'm saying? I find it sufficient. I find it balanced. I like it because it's not attracting a lot of dirt, but I have enough grip on it that I don't need any kind of side grips on this mouse. I feel like it's good enough for me. And it has the added advantage of repelling dirt, so that kind of works for me. The buttons, when working correctly, the mouse 1 and mouse 2 buttons feel exquisite. They use Huano blue shell pink dots all around. Even the side buttons are blue shell pink dots, and the tensioning feels, it's very satisfying. I actually prefer this over end game gear buttons, but of course those are opticals and these are mechanical switches, so I don't know if it's fair enough. It's fair for me to compare them both together. And here is my first and my second of my 3 problems with this mouse. Mouse 1 produced an annoying squeak after 3-4 days. I had to take it apart, file down a part. You know, there was a little part there that was in contact with the trigger, and then that solved the problem. So, you know, after that, no problem. Problem number 2 is the side buttons. If you take a look at the side buttons, I don't know if you can, I can show it to you. Can you see these side buttons? They have a weird shape that is kind of like opposite of ergonomic. Instead of the mouse, instead of the side button shaped this way, it is shaped this way. You know what I mean? It's kind of like flat or concave. Instead of being shaped this way, it is shaped this way. So it's kind of weird. It feels weird to actuate. It feels really weird to press. But again, these are also blue shell pink dot Huanos. So I suppose that makes up for it a little bit. But the button shape is really terrible. I hope they change it, make it like the endgame gear where it's, you can see it's like ergonomic. It's shaped that way. It's curved. The middle part of the mouse is kind of like higher, and then the sides are like lower. It feels really ergonomic and comfortable. I wish they would do that instead of this flat or concave shape, which is not nice at all. So yeah, My problem number 3 is the feet. As you can see, I've got Tiger-Eyes V2s on it right now. When I unboxed the mouse, I was actually kind of excited. I was in awe actually. I was in awe because they had the core pad skates on as stock skates, and unfortunately about 24 hours later the skates completely turned around and became the slowest skates I ever used. It was the really fast skates when I unboxed it and took out the peel off the sticker and did the spin test. It was absolutely amazing, and then 24 hours later it just became really bad. If you guys were here for the Sprime review, this is exactly the same thing that happened to the Sprime as well. It just deteriorated over 24 hours and then became unbearable to play. I had to, when I was fixing the trigger, I also took out the skates and I put the Tiger-Eyes V2s, and now they are like night and day, absolutely amazing. Now the last part that I want to talk about is of course the performance and value. Now if I show you the performance, let me show you on the Kovacs results here. You can see a period here of really low scores. Now I started using this mouse here on the 23rd and I had the lowest scores in about since September 2023. My first attempt, I had the lowest score, but I wasn't on this pad. I was actually on the AX Gaming Punk Drizzle. For 3 days I had 3 really low scores. Before this I was still on the AX Gaming pad with a different mouse, and you can see a period of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days on the AX Gaming Punk Drizzle. Atrociously low scores here for 7 days straight, and I knew it wasn't the mouse fault. I knew it was something to do with the pad. I switched out the pad on the 4th day to what I'm using now, which is my best performing pad, which is the Tenta-X Octo-Sense. This one is called the Last Stance, of course, and as you can see the result, it's not the greatest. I did not have any kind of breakthroughs, but you can see the scores are in line with my best scores since when is this date? Let's check out this date. Since November. So since November, December, January, when I was doing really well with the VX ER1s, I have been maintaining the same kind of results. So I did not like get better, but I was matching my best results with the R1 and this pad. This pad is the best results that I'm getting on Kovacs with any kind of mouse. Again, this is the latest release from Tenta-X. This is called the Octo-Sense, and this design is a limited edition called the Last Stand. Of course, this is a 3.5mm jacquard weave mouse pad. When you talk about jacquard weave, of course you're thinking about the Artisan Hayate Otsu, but this is nothing like the Hayate Otsu. This is not as fast as the Hayate Otsu. In fact, I would say this is a control mouse pad, so this is going to have the speed of a control pad. I would say it's faster than a Zero, but it is slower than a Tangdao. A Tangdao is going to be faster than this, but again, this is a jacquard weave, and the jacquard weave has the properties of jacquard weave. I mean, when I say the properties of jacquard weave, I mean it glides differently to a Tangdao or a Artisan Zero control pad. It has a different feel and glide to it. The strength of this pad is once you're locked onto your target and you're tracking, that's where the strength is. The tracking and the flicking, once you're locked in, it is really good for that. So I think this pad is now back on sale again. I think they ran out recently, and they've restocked it and ran out again, and I think they're restocking it again. I think it's available again, I'm not too sure. You can go check it out on Amazon. Again, this is the Tenta-X Octo-Sense, the last stand. And yeah, this all my best scores with the VXER1 you know, was done on this pad. So yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about the Tenta-X. So that's the pad for you if you're interested in this pad. And the LA-1 lethal gaming gear, incredible value for money for 60 bucks. I think it's like $76 if you include the 4K dongle here. 4K dongle is pretty interesting. It's green light now because I have enough battery power, and then when it goes down to 50% or something like that, it turns blue, this light, and then when you're down to 30%, the light turns red. But don't wait for it to turn red, because once it turns red, it just runs out of batteries really quickly. That 30% to 0 is very quick. I think in like 6 hours or something like that, it's gone. That's, of course, I'm talking about 2K and 4K. On 1K, I'm assuming it's going to last a lot longer. But this mouse is very, very good. Apart from that button issue that I had, which I think most people won't have. I think most people will have a copy that has pretty good buttons and no squeaky buttons like I did. But I did have that squeaky button, and then I don't like the side buttons so much because of the way they are shaped. And then those core pad skates, unfortunately, they weren't good enough for me. They are control skates. If you like that kind of control slow skates, those are for you. But if you got this mouse thinking the core pads are going to be like Tiger Eyes V2s, they're not. They're pretty slow pads. If you want Tiger Eyes V2s, you need to take them out and put Tiger Eyes V2s on them. But anyway, that is my video on the lethal gaming gear LA-1. Really good value for money. $60 if you are just going for 1K polling and run it on your standard short dongle. I think you should, because 4K really doesn't make much difference to my life. I don't feel any kind of improvement at all, except for it's taking up space on my table with this amount of dongles on it sitting there. So yeah, that is my take on the LA-1. I hope you enjoyed this video and took some useful information. And yeah, LA-1. See you on the next video. Bye bye.